Good morning, everyone. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and they're out there mowing the grass that is going dormant because we haven't really experienced rain in a little while. So go gardeners. And they came into the back last week and trimmed some big bushes back there that we liked big, but we cannot lie. It was a little disappointing. There's a lilac bush back there that is never going to bloom because every time it's gotten to a point where it might start giving us blooms, they've cut it back. So we just need to put a big sign over top of it saying no and pointing down, because no is kind of universal in several different languages. Very emotional yesterday, even though it might not have seemed like it. That's why I kind of faced the camera in that direction, because it's like what this past weekend meant to me was huge. And it just, you know, it was cool thing upon cool thing upon cool thing happening to me and Matt and Dad kind of all at once. And it was pretty great. It's really weird. Poverty is different in so many different places. Like if you go to downtown Columbus right now, or even on a weekend, the amount of homeless people sleeping in various places down High Street it pales in comparison to it's just exasperating, really, of homeless individuals that are not just homeless. I think it's the third time in my life a schizophrenic has come up beside myself along with another group of people and just started yelling profanities at them for no reason while talking to 4 other people that weren't there. The poor lady that we were with, she couldn't finish she tried her best to work past it because we were trying to have a conversation, but the person was just yelling right in her ear as close to her as possible. And it's not like, you know, you want to put hands on somebody. I mean, regardless of homeless or not, you don't want to put your hands on somebody to push them away, but you also don't want to put your hands on the individual that we saw yelling profanity and talking to 4 other people. They were not, it's awful to say, but they weren't sanitary. So, and you know, it comes off as very high and mighty or very full of ourselves or you know, just very dismissive. But several things, we don't have the facility or ability or knowledge to help that person in any way, shape, or form. You don't know if somebody like that's gonna go violent, so the best thing you can do is try to not engage. And it was hard. It was very difficult. It was one of the people we went to lunch with because they were, or brunch with, and because they were in the same hotel. So we kind of walked ourselves all the way back to the hotel in relative uncomfortableness until we got to the lobby. And then, yeah. It was, the homeless it's interesting. The extreme amount of poverty that we saw in Colombia and Medellin, it was interesting because it was a hustle poverty. Every street corner, every stoplight had someone who was willing to do something for help. But like in Minneapolis, it just felt like they needed mental help, and somehow the state and even the city kind of failed them because they're seen on the street and nothing is done, you know. Maybe people have attempted, but the case of the poor schizophrenic individual, it seems like it was attempted and then they walked away once, you know, that kind of a thing. So, I mean, I don't know. That isn't me being judgmental of the help that's being given to people, but, you know, singularly in my little microcosm, that's my interpretation. So, I've got the Ramble coffee. I've pulled that out. It hadn't fallen into the back of the coffee shelf, but it was definitely on the last line. So, and this is a February, the last day of February, not even the leap year February. So, I can't say that it hasn't even turned a birthday yet, but we're getting pretty close. So we're gonna work up some coffee here, and we're going to whip it up, and we're going to whip it good, because that's what we do here. Little spritzes of water. Give it a little bit of a shake. Oop. Oh no, you don't escape. You are going back in, my friend. We're grinding you up. Was really tired this morning. I started a very slight workout routine because I know how my body loves to hate me after I do anything. So I ran for 30 minutes and then I did a series of sit-ups and weightlifting, and I am just this side of sore, so I know exactly how much I should do before I get into too much pain. But we really didn't go to bed until like 2 o'clock last night, so which is probably a big part of it. Anywho, that one beam wanted to hold on, and I don't blame it. No static. God, what a wonderful technique. The whole spritzing the beans thing. Almost has like a cola-like smell. I think that's the dark cherry that they say is one of the tasting notes. It's almost like a cherry cola almost kind of smell to it. It's a light roast. Let's see, grown by Fundum Co-op, single origin. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's the Colombia, Nariño. So it is as a Colombia, so that's right there. I think Medellin is like right there. Cartagena is up here, and then that is the Fundum Co-op in Colombia. Pretty cool. It's tasty coffee, so I'm very excited to open it back up and use it. Let me get an even bed here. I thought it sounded like you were done. I have corn and apples and bananas over there. He picked up corn. I'm like, oh, God, apples sound good, but everything, apples are, no, I need to put you on here and then bring you over here. And then we need to, oh, come on. One-handed. This thing is so loose and slippery in the back. So, all right, there we go. Think about it. Think harder. Terraforming me, will you? Thank you. Gee, holy cow. Argumentative scale is argumentative. Let's get a bloom going on here. So yeah, it's a hustle culture down there. There were people, I don't know how much I talked about this before. There were people, when the traffic lights were on stop, they would walk out into the crosswalk area and dance. Someone would put on music and then they would dance and they would do flips and they would do things that were absolutely amazing, you know, and just before the light would turn green, they would ask for money. There was a sword swallower. There was a sword juggler, which I'm like was really weird to have like in a row because someone was swallowing swords and God only knows where the swords were before they went down his throat. But then there was a sword juggler. And, you know, they would go out in the middle of the street when it was a red light and juggle, you know, and then you had the people who washed your windshields. People had coolers full of sodas and waters and stuff like that at each stoplight. So it's more of a poor hustle down there. Up here, I mean, maybe it's different in different cities, but in the several cities that I've been, you know, where I've been able to walk through a downtown and see poverty prevalent enough to be witnessed for any kind of length of time, it's very beg, and then, you know, find a place to sleep. So, which I'm not saying one is good and one is bad. They're both bad because everybody should have a place to live. Everybody should feel safe. Everyone should have the help that they need. Everybody. The long short of it is, you know, the cultures are just different. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but it was just fascinating to see how everything differentiates between the countries. So, yeah, it's very interesting. It was a big part of the visit in Minneapolis was seeing the poverty. Some of it was on that metro system, but not a lot. Like we used the metro extensively, and maybe like 3 times out of 7, police came through and sweeped the car, the place that we were in. And it wasn't just like one, there were 5 of them. There was an instance as we were leaving the airport and coming towards our hotel in the downtown area, which was about a 30-minute ride from the airport to the downtown area. There were these 2 workers, I assume they had yellow vests on and looked like, they were in construction, or maybe window washers also wear that kind of get up. And then, there was, because we saw some people washing some of those really tall buildings in Minneapolis. But they were just sitting there, and then several youths came on. One of them was smoking a cigarette, and the one guy was like, "Hey, you can't smoke that on here." And the youth was this close to being violent, using many swear words, and completely deflecting from the fact that he was smoking on the train. And then 2 seconds later, the no smoking chime came on. So, the dude did his due diligence to remind them not to smoke. It's not like he said it angrily. He wasn't mean. He was just like, "Hey man, you can't smoke on here." And the young man who was smoking was not going to put the cigarette out until one of the buddies he was with said, "Hey man, no, put it out. Put it out. We're done. We're done." And then the man put out the cigarette. So it was just very interesting. Just local youth smoking on the tube. And it was weird because, at any moment, it seemed like they could stop at a stop, and then 4 cops could come on. And I mean, even though the gentleman was kind about it, I wouldn't have blamed him for being like, the dude cussed at me. He yelled at me just for asking him to do the bare minimum. So, "Hey officer, you smell that smoke?" It was an older gentleman, and it's like, them people don't care who they narc on. Of course, if they didn't arrest him or do anything about it, and then left at the next stop, it probably would have been violence. It was an interesting experience getting around down there. But I will say, the metro, the car, the trolleys that were in themselves, incredibly clean, incredibly well kept. Other than the cigarette smoke in the one, it was an atmosphere that seemed safe to be in. It didn't, at no time, regardless of who was around us, we never felt like we were in danger. We were more in danger walking down the streets of Minneapolis with the schizophrenics who were just wandering around shouting random things at random paintings, So, and then, like I said, that's really something that healthcare workers could stand to work on there. I would assume that Columbus, being a smaller city, with a less sprawling downtown, Minneapolis's downtown is huge compared to Columbus's. But, it just seems like there are far less. Just having a smaller downtown doesn't mean you have a smaller population of homeless or individuals in need of medical care living on the street, or living in a shelter when those are available. It just seems like there are less, and that maybe that might be by design. I don't know. So it was. And that only happened once. There was only at one point where we felt like, this is uncomfortable. Otherwise, downtown Minneapolis was neat. The architecture was neat. The old milling district, we walked through that. It was really cool. They had a lot of different signs that were still up from the old days. There was this interesting structure where it looked like it fell down, but then they built on the back of it, and they kept the ruins as an aesthetic, and then had, people almost look like living in apartments behind the rubble. So they had a view of the rubble, and then a little higher up they had a view of the rubble and the Mississippi. So and the river. So, you know, whatever people want, however people feel comfortable, you know. Yeah, that's a really strong tasting cup of coffee. Yeah, I like it a lot. Ramble Coffee. Ramble Coffee is really good. It has been since the beginning, and it hasn't lost a lot of flavor. Yeah, I mean, I can't taste stale. I'm sure if it were 2 years old, I would be able to taste stale. But going on 4 months, 5 months now, I can't tell any staleness. Ramble Coffee, very good. They are on North High Street in Columbus. 3535 North High Street, Columbus. RambleCoffee.com. Link in the description. I'll put it there. Oh, when we left the theater, we were given these Point Break bottle openers. They're so cool. They're neat. Look at that. Just little surfboards, little bottle openers. I want to get this ring out of it, just so. But yeah, look at the. Whoever did this logo, it's a little raised. It's got texture on it. It's got sparkles in it. There's a man in a tuxedo surfing. Riff Tracks Live, Point Break. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun, so much fun. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm sorry this is a little late out. Like I said, I had a hard time getting up this morning. So, and then I'm gonna go back at it today. I have to go get paper towels. I'm out of paper towels. But I've got I'm gonna edit this up and we'll have it uploaded. It should be there by midday. And then I gotta go and edit some more Mega Bloks. Somebody posted, because I'd brought up Lego before and made the comparison between Lego and Mega Bloks. Apparently, at one point, Mega Bloks did put numbers on their bags corresponding to steps. Apparently, Lego has that trademarked and sued Mega Bloks. Now, the thing to have done would be to make them letters or even Roman numerals. Because putting numbers on bags is one thing, but putting letters on bags, different. Maybe that would have been a way to go. And then still kept the damn bags in some kind of logical stack, you know? Because, and you should go watch the videos. They're about 20 minutes in length, give or take. And, you know, I'm finding small one-off pieces in different bags. They don't even have the one-off pieces in like one bag. They're all in different little bags. And some of them bags are the ones with long pieces. And it is a journey of madness. And I have to continue editing that tonight. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful day and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.